Good morning, students, and welcome to week number 2 of STU 103. This week, we're going to talk about two major things: goal setting and motivation. So let's start with goal setting, trying to figure out why it's important. Why did I include it in the syllabus for this class? First of all, I think we need to realize that goals are a great motivator for both the short-term and long-term goals in your life, and the visions that you may have for what you want. It's really, goal setting is a very powerful vision of your future that you can put into action. Basically, what do you want to get out of life? That kind of thing. It's not only a vision for you, but it's also a way of turning those thoughts and feelings and ideas into a concrete plan to create your reality. So goals are very powerful. That's one reason we are talking about it today. Oftentimes goals are going to focus on the acquisition of knowledge. I'll give you an example of a long-term goal here in just a moment. It's also going to help you organize your time and your resources. We all have limitations, so by focusing on what you want to get out of life or something that you want to achieve, you can best utilize those resources and time. It also helps you choose where you want to go in life. To me, one of the most powerful things about goals is that it's your choice. It's about you. Remember, this is your life. I mean, for 17, 18 years, people have been telling you what to do. You're going to reach a point where you're going to start forging your own trail, if you will. And so these goals are going to help you get from point A to point B. So most of all, I want to encourage you to think about goals as a way of getting things out of life that you want. It's your life, and most importantly, goals can bring you a great deal of happiness when you succeed. All right, so let's talk about how you're going to actually write those goals. First of all, I want you to be very specific. Think about what you really want to do. Also, besides being specific, you really need to think about, why do I want to do this goal? If it's someone else's goal, that's not going to work. It needs to be something that you specifically want out of your life. How will you reach this goal? What kind of tools are you going to need to get from, again, point A to point B? When you write your goals, they should always be in a positive statement form. How you will achieve something, not that you won't do something. You want to be very precise. Set priorities. Let's say you have 3 or 4 goals that you are working on. You need to set priorities so you know which goal is the most important, because honestly, sometimes we can work on multiple goals, but other times we really need to focus on one. So prioritize. What is the most important goal in your life that you want to work on right now? Set performance goals, not outcome, because sometimes we can set things that aren't achievable. So that's not really a good goal. If it's something that can't be achieved, let's rewrite that into something that can be achievable. And be realistic about what you set for your goals. All right, so when we talk about setting goals, we're going to use the SMART method. And some of you may have had this. It's the SMART. So this might be a little bit of a review to use that SMART method. So let's figure out what it stands for. You're going to read a short article that I have downloaded, or uploaded rather, the link on SMART goals. So it'll give you a little more information. But just as a quick recap, we're going to talk about SMART, S standing for specific. In other words, what specifically do you want to do or accomplish? For example, I'm going to give you an example. We'll build it along the way here. Instead of saying, well, I want to continue my education after high school graduation. That's really a vague statement. So we want to be more specific. So maybe you want to say, I want to earn a bachelor's of science degree in biology. Okay, that's pretty specific. M stands for measurable. So how are you going to measure if you're reaching that goal or not? So it needs to be tangible. It needs to be concrete. So let's say you want to earn a Bachelor of Science degree from Northern Arizona University. And we're going to set a time frame to that as well to see if you're going to be able to accomplish that. A stands for achievable. You have to be able to reach this goal. It has to be realistic. Let's say, for example, that your goal is to attend NAU, but for some reason you aren't accepted, or maybe you forgot to do your foreign language requirement, whatever. So part of your goal might be to figure out how to get to NAU. Maybe you're going to go to a community college for 2 years and then transfer. So you need to figure out how to achieve that goal. If you've applied and you've gotten in, great, you've already achieved that first step. R stands for relevant. Certainly you need to pick something that is real, something meaningful in your life, something that's important. So let's say in our example that you want to be a doctor. Majoring in biology would be a logical step toward getting admitted to med school, for example. And certainly, whether it's a Bachelor of Science in biology or going on to become a doctor, those are certainly relevant and important goals to you. And the last one is the T, and that's time-based. Some forms you'll see trackable, either one is fine. When will you reach your goal? Let's say, in our example, that you want to attend NAU for 4 years. So you're going to, for our purposes, start in the fall of 2020 and plan on graduating in the spring of 2024. So to finish our goal, and this would happen to be a long-term goal, by the way. So a long-term goal would be something that's typically a year or more. A short-term goal might be a couple days, weeks, 3 months, but typically long-term is a year or more. So for our purposes, I've written this goal and it goes like this. I will continue my education by attending Northern Arizona University in the fall of 2020 and major in biology so that I can graduate in the spring of 2024 and then apply to med school. So I think it meets all those standards of the SMART that we are using. Just an example to help you get started. So let's talk about just a few tips to help your goals become a reality, and also to stay motivated, because sometimes motivation is harder for some than others. So one of the first suggestions that I have for you is to put your goals in writing. You need to know the why of why you're doing this. Don't just do a goal because someone tells you to. It needs to be yours, and you need to know, why am I doing this? What's in it for me? I suggest that you use some type of calendar, whether it's a paper and pencil calendar, a planner, or a lot of us like to use our electronic. And that way you can set benchmarks for yourself and how you're coming along with that goal. You should be looking at those goals frequently. Some people look every day, a minimum of once a week. Otherwise, you lose track, you lose momentum, you lose motivation to reach that goal. So typically, at least once a week, you should be looking at those goals. Some people write them on little sticky notes and put them on their mirrors, whatever works for you. Stay focused. You need to be taking action on those goals. And if nothing's happening, you've got that goal written out there, but you're not doing anything, it's probably time to take a look at that goal. Maybe rewrite it, or honestly, maybe it's not working and delete it. You aren't stuck with the goal. You can always revise it. You can always delete it. You can pick another goal if that is what works for you. For sure, you should review them, especially if they're long-term goals. Sometimes we call them New Year's resolutions, but really a lot of times those are just really goals that you want to set for yourself for the year. These goals should inspire you. They shouldn't haunt you. They shouldn't make you feel bad if you're not working on them. If you have someone that you feel close to that will motivate you, inspire you, and support you, it's perfectly fine to share them. Some people like to share goals and other people like to keep them very private. So it is really whatever works for you in that case. Cross off your goals as you accomplish them. Or if it's a very complex goal, maybe you have lots of steps, cross them off. That gives a certain satisfaction for some of us. Make sure those goals aren't too easily attained. If you can do them, bing, they're done, that's more like a to-do list rather than a goal. Be optimistic, but at the same time, learn from your failure. There's a great graduation speech that you might enjoy. It's about the importance of failure, and it's by J.K. Rowling. It's a graduation speech at Harvard. It was done several years ago, but the importance of failure can't be stated enough. Don't worry about failing. You fail if you don't try. All right, let's just wrap up this little video session number 2 by talking about motivating yourself. That's a tough one. Each one of you knows what motivates you personally. So maybe it's the big reward at the end, knowing that you've accomplished this goal. Some people that's enough, but some of us get stuck. We need a little more help to get motivated. Music is a great motivator for a lot of people. Quotes. I love quotes. I find them very inspirational. Maybe if it's a complex goal, you're rewarding yourself at each little step. That's okay. Take a small reward. Motivational speakers I find very helpful as well. 3 of my favorites that you might check out are Tony Robbins, Dr. Eric Thomas, and Les Brown. Also on your week number 2, I've included a 3-minute clip of a very motivational coach that I really enjoy, and it's entitled I Am a Champion. So I'm going to have you watch that link and then answer a couple questions on your message board for the week. All right, that's it for week number 2. I hope everything is going well for you, and I'll be checking in with you for video 3 in the near future. Thanks, and have a great week.